Let's find out together how ancient humans managed to survive the Ice Age.
The cold hits you before you even open your eyes. Not the cold of a drafty bedroom or a broken heater. A cold that has weight. A cold that settles into your bones and does not leave. Outside, the wind is moving at speed your body was not built to withstand. The temperature is somewhere around -25 degrees Celsius. And you have no thermostat to adjust. No insulated walls. No electric blanket. You are a human being living through the last glacial maximum, the peak of the most recent ice age, roughly 20,000 years ago. And somehow, your ancestors not only survived this, they thrived. How? That question has driven researchers like Clive Finlayson, a paleontologist at the Gibraltar Museum, to spend decades piecing together exactly what life looked like for the humans who outlasted one of the most brutal climatic events in our species' history. What they found rewrites what most people imagine when they hear the words Ice Age. Start with the most common misconception. Ice Age does not mean the entire planet was frozen. It means the glaciers, sheets of ice 2 to 3 kilometers thick, covered enormous portions of North America, Europe, and Asia. If you lived in what is now Spain, southern France, or parts of the Middle East, the climate was more like a cold, dry steppe. Harsh, yes. Lethal, only if you were unprepared. And your ancestors were not unprepared. The first tool of survival was shelter. Not caves by default, that image comes mostly from the sites archaeologists can still find. In reality, ancient humans built structures. At the site of Mazyrik in present-day Ukraine, researchers uncovered huts constructed from mammoth bones. Over 400 individual bones stacked and interlocked into domed shelters. These were not primitive accidents. They were engineered. Mammoth skulls formed the base. Jawbones were stacked in specific patterns for stability. Animal hides stretched across the frame created insulation. Inside these structures, temperatures would have been dramatically warmer than outside. Fire, of course, was central. But fire management at this point in human history was sophisticated in ways most people underestimate. Evidence from sites like Dolní Věstonice in the Czech Republic, one of the oldest known permanent settlements, dating to around 26,000 years ago, shows hearths positioned strategically inside shelters, ash pits used to bank coals overnight, and burned animal bones used as fuel when wood was scarce. Your ancestors understood fire not just as warmth but as a resource to be rationed. Now consider clothing. This is where the Ice Age human separates completely from any survival scenario you might imagine. Archaeologist Olga Soffer, whose research into Upper Paleolithic textiles at the University of Illinois transformed our understanding of this era, demonstrated that ancient humans were producing woven plant fiber textiles as far back as 27,000 years ago. But more relevant to the cold, the bone needles found across dozens of Ice Age sites indicate tailored, fitted clothing. Not animal skins thrown over a shoulder. Sewn garments. Layered systems. Functional cold weather gear that would not embarrass a modern outdoor brand. The needle, in this context, may be the most important invention of the Ice Age. So now you have shelter, fire, and clothing. But you still need to eat. This is where survival became a full-time collective enterprise. Ice Age megafauna, woolly mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, cave bears, giant deer, were enormous sources of calories, fat, and material. But hunting them was not the reckless, spear-first charge depicted in popular culture. Research by Pat Shipman of Penn State University on Ice Age faunal remains shows evidence of highly coordinated hunting strategies, including driving animals toward natural traps like cliffs or boggy ground. A single mammoth could provide hundreds of kilograms of meat, fat, bone marrow, and hide. Communities would have processed and stored meat in frozen pits in the ground. The permafrost served as a natural freezer. But they did not rely on megafauna alone. Plant foods, roots, tubers, nuts, where available, supplemented the diet. Small game, fish, birds. The Ice Age diet was diverse because diversity was survival. And none of this happened alone. Perhaps the most important adaptation was not physical at all. It was social. The archaeological record from this period shows a dramatic expansion of trade networks. Shells from the Mediterranean coast have been found at inland sites hundreds of kilometers away. Flint from specific quarries traveled extraordinary distances. This means information traveled too. Knowledge of migration routes, seasonal resource locations, and survival techniques moved between groups who may never have met in person but were linked through exchange. Polly Wiesner, an anthropologist whose fieldwork with the Kung San people of the Kalahari illuminated how modern hunter-gatherers manage risk, argues that these networks function as a form of social insurance. When one group faces starvation, another shares. The entire system of survival was distributed across communities, not concentrated in any single individual or family. Here is the counterintuitive twist. The humans who lived through the Ice Age did not merely endure it. They produced art. The cave paintings at Chauvet Cave in southern France, some of the most sophisticated representational art ever created, date to roughly 32 to 36,000 years ago. Horses, lions, rhinoceroses rendered in charcoal with a mastery of form and movement that stuns modern art historians. People living in conditions of extreme environmental stress were also holding ceremonies, telling stories, and decorating their world. Survival and meaning were never separate. You are living proof of this. Every person alive today is a direct descendant of humans who survived the last glacial maximum. The cold that was trying to kill them shaped your skull, your lung capacity, your ability to generate and conserve body heat. When you pull out a winter coat without thinking twice, you are wearing the conceptual legacy of a needle made from bone, pushed through an animal hide, by a pair of hands 20,000 years ago. The cold hits you before you even open your eyes. But you already know how to answer it. You always have.